Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast right here on twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. I am your host, as always, Chad Porto, and joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus, welcome to the show. How the hell are you?
Good, man. Glad to be back. It's another Monday, so more wrestling talk.
Just another manic Monday. Oh. So, we're going to have a twofer this week. We're going to try to do it more often. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking this past weekend's Impact pay-per-view. No Surrender, or Without a Doubt, or Rebellion, or...
Rebellion.
I don't know which one we're on. The United Federation of Planets.
Hilarious.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And part of it's going to be, one, because I haven't watched it yet, but two, we're also going to try to get back into the flow of doing more than one show a week. And one of the things I want to do is do a review show, and maybe do a review show every week, but not necessarily about just modern wrestling. Maybe we'll actually get into doing some of the classic reviews we talked about doing. But that's the goal, is to get back to 2 shows a week regularly. Because I feel like with the reviews, those are evergreen content. So like there's never really a like an expiration date, unlike the news. The news always seems to have, only so long that it's viable for. So be ready to check that out. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're going to have all our shows up on there via YouTube. So, if you miss it live, you can watch it on Twitch. But if you wait too long, you're going to have to watch it on our website. So there it is. Let's talk first and foremost Matt Cardona. So this show's going to suck. You can call yourself a major player all you want, my friend, but I don't believe it.
He's mid. He's mid. He's mid, Cardona.
The middiest of the mid. He's so mid, his nickname is Midian. Well, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion because the world just isn't kind. I mean, the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson. Elon Musk is buying Twitter. Russia's blowing up their own shit so they can blame Ukraine. So, this seems to be in line with the current, trajectory of the global scene. He's going to have an entire show. It's called Always Ready, which is a nod to him. He tweeted out, "I am honored that the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I am honored to be the NWA World Champion. I am proud to announce that the next NWA pay-per-view will be called Always Ready. Get your tickets at nwatix.com or watch on fight.tv. Billy Corgan released a press release about Always Ready that will feature Cardona's entrance music as the show's sole theme song." Oh, God. Why? Why? He goes on to say, as NWA World Heavyweight Champion Matt Cardona insists that if he was to be compelled to go to a storied NWA territory like Knoxville, and defend his championship, the only way he would do so, on the 11th of June, was if it was in his honor. This event, named after his singular catchphrase, Always Ready, will feature the entrance music as the show's sole theme, and the promotional materials therein will include his brand and likeness, including no less than a modified NWA logo, which now reads MCWA, Matt Cardona Wrestling Alliance. Now, all that's left for us is for the champion to be ready to live up to his requests. So, here's the thing. It's already hard enough to watch an NWA show with that commentary team. Velvet Sky and Austin Idol are the worst things to happen to wrestling. Nope, not sense anything. They're just the worst. Like they're on par with early 70s racism. That's how bad they are. Yeah, I went there. So I have a hard time watching NWA pay-per-views, and I would buy I think it's like $60. You get all the pay-per-views. You get like all access to their 2 shows early, and you're providing money for people to have a paying job. Like, all right, that seems like a viable way to spend $60 a year, right? I can't do it because I don't want to hear those two. And like they got a really good play-by-play guy. Like he's really good. I forget his name off the top of my head, but I know he's with the company now full time. Joe Galley, I think that's right. So like when you think about that, like when you think about the fact that
But
they got a really good play-by-play guy and just shit color commentary, it's like damn, like how did you
just
fuck this up so hard?
I just put him with Tim Storm. Like, we had the commentary talk. Like I didn't like I liked Swing of the Head, D'Lo Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and Striker. And I don't know if you're the highest on them, but I've grown to appreciate Reinhold and I was about to say Hannibal Boris, but the Hannah fan.
I think I'd
Reinhold,
rather prefer Hannibal Buress.
because I think they found the groove. They also do a good job at staying up to date with all the moves and all the history and stuff. Because you got Impact, you got New Japan storylines, AEW, obviously the Impact storylines, and WWE stuff, and they play with all the history. So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool in that way, and they don't sound stupid. And they're not annoying, and it's like, cause it's me comparing these two with anything Velvet Sky related, which is like when you start that low, it's always gonna be an insult to the comparison. So it's like,
Yeah, you're kind of just punching down at that point. So I don't like Reinhold, Rowan,
shh.
Eric Rowan, and Hammerfan, Reinhold and Flim Flam. They're fine. They're not unlistenable because they are talented. I just like it's one Haberford is just kind of a douchebag and I don't like him. And two, Matt Stryker was so good.
Yeah.
So like you can't like give me Luka Doncic and then go, all right, but now here's Marvin Bagley. It's like, no.
But then somebody's in the back. It's like, if you don't like that, we got Josh on step. No. I told you they're not unlistenable. It's just a preference.
It's a big preference, but like NWA's is terrible, like legitimately terrible. Velvet Sky doesn't have a clue what she's talking about. She's been in the business nearly 20 years, and she still doesn't have a fucking clue what she's doing. And then Austin Idol's been in the business for 50 years, and he's just obnoxious.
Just use Galley. I don't even know how, because I don't watch the product like that. I catch the big shows, but that's just
At that point, that's all I'm doing too. I
Yeah,
watched
'cause
NWA USA this week. Ugh, it was bad.
but I'm like, look, man, like if you coming off that last show, the Crockett Cup, it's like, why don't you just permanently have Galley and Storm?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got a good play-by-play guy, and Storm is a teacher.
Yeah.
You have to be a good communicator. That's half the job. So it's like, but they both were like acquiescing and kind of trying to make room to get Velvet Sky's crap off. And it's like, I don't like listening to her when she's on point. So when she goes off point, you have some dislike of some dude in the match, or she's like in character kissing the ass of another dude in the match. I really don't care at that point. So it's like it's all bad.
It's not good. Pope's still there. He's great.
Thank God. Yeah.
You could use him too. You could have a booth of Galley, Storm, and Pope, which sounds like a law firm.
No, that it really does. Like
At Galley, Storm, and Pope, we will defend you against people.
It can be the Mickey D's Burger King of Law that right across the offices from Murdoch. Murdoch and Associates.
Yeah, at that point, we don't even recognize the other dude. It's just Murdoch. Sorry, brud. Sorry. So, yeah, that's the NWA right now. Like, they had Jay Bradley doing, like, these in-between segments. And, like, Jay Bradley's great. I like Jay Bradley. But his partner, I don't remember his name. He was insufferable. You know, I've been on these sets before. I've heard people go, you know what? Just, you guys are funny. Just wing it. You know, like there's no script. They're just talking, and it doesn't always work. And if that was written, then they need to fire everyone who wrote that promo, or all the promos, because they were fucking bad. Just no. I'm gonna try to swear less. I think making our show family friendly might be an opportune thing. You know, and we're not talking about porn star sex positions like last week.
Oh, that was such a good show. I was waiting for it to drop on the feed. I was like, did we lose it?
No, I don't like posting 2-part videos. They don't do as well.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
anytime we have a drop like that, just don't expect it to go to YouTube. I'm more embarrassed with my internet at that point. Like, I can't even look at you anymore. Just I stare at my router like, what happened to you? So speaking of what happened, women's wrestling army's a thing. And where did it go? Did I accidentally close it out? So they're I'm gonna need to look for this story again. They just announced some more talent for it. Tasha Steele's. Oh, never mind. That's right. That's right there. Yeah. All right. So Tasha Steele is going to be a part of this, as is the Hex. That's Allison Kay, aka Sienna, and Marty Bell of Impact fame. They will compete at the inaugural event on May 1st. And this is very shocking to me, Marcus, because up until right now, I didn't realize this was a promotion. The press release was not very descriptive, and they didn't really do a great job kind of putting over what the fuck it was going to be. The only other name announced for it is Trish Adora, who was like the Euro Africano Asianic champion or whatever. They had like a weird title for that belt. Nice looking belt. It was green, but it was a weird title for it. I can't remember the exact name for it. But I didn't realize this was a wrestling promotion until right now. Marcus, we've heard of Women's Wrestling Army prior to today. Did you realize it was a wrestling promotion? Because I thought it was going to be one of those fan club things that Brandy Rhodes started.
Not a clue, but like the comparison with commentary of Velvet Sky, anything that's not a promotion started by Brandy Rhodes is probably top tier, or at least successfully mid. But no, yeah, we talked about it before, but didn't know it was go to this extent. So it's cool to hear. I mean, look, you got, you do have women's promotions out there, and I would like to watch more of WoW.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, more places for women, collectively that don't have to share the roster. The more great women's wrestlers we'll get. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm just glad it's like you said, it's not, because not to knock Brandy, but something like that does come off as a vanity project, even though it could have like legitimate good intentions.
Yeah, Brandy no longer has the goodwill that she had 3-4 years ago, so I'm gonna knock her. That was a terrible fucking idea.
I mean, look, man, she ultimately, her legacy in AEW is turning Dan Lambert to a babyface. That's not good. It's not good.
I'm an old white conservative, and they're cheering me over you. Dan Lambert with the fucking line of the year. Man, Brandy just spent her entire career in AEW taking L's, and it's rubbing off on Maria. Unfortunately, I'm down with this. I don't like the name Women's Wrestling Army. Like, I don't know. Like, we've had some pretty dope all-women names, like Shine, Shimmer, Women's Superstar Uncensored. What's the one in Japan? Dream? Is that it? No. Is that what it is? No. Stardom.
Stardom, yeah, Stardom.
Dream was an MMA promotion in Japan. And then there was Ice Ribbon Dancers or Ice Ribbon or something like that. Ribbon Dancers. It's like, there's some pretty dope names out there. Women's Wrestling Army, like, you're all competing against each other, though. So it's not really an army. It's a women's wrestling coalition. WWC, like, why not? The ironic thing is the initials of Women's Wrestling Army is WWA. And now if you're an old-timey wrestling fan, because now I have to say that because it's been 20 years, you might remember the World Wrestling All-Stars promotion that was based out of Australia and New Zealand that featured all sorts of ex-WCW guys like Rick Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, Lex Luger, Sting. It lasted for roughly 20 months, give or take. It had about 4 or 5 shows that made it to pay-per-view. None of them are great. And Marcus, we might watch all of them at one point.
History, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, it's not great. I think like one really good match exists on all 5 cards. It was Jerry Lynn. Is it Jerry Lynn and Eddie Guerrero and somebody else? Daniels, maybe? I'm going to look this up real fast because I want to remember this. It was the second show, and I remember Jerry Lynn for sure was in it. Although the show loses its step because Disco Inferno's doing commentary. He wasn't great in his prime, and he's even worse now. Let's see the second show. Where the hell are the show Revolution? Okay, so the Revolution is the name of the second show. And it featured Eddie Guerrero versus Juventud versus Psychosis. Excuse me, not Jerry Lynn. So the one thing I was so positive about, I was wrong. Yeah, the Eddie Psychosis Juventud match is really good. I'm pretty sure Jerry Lynn was a part of this at some point.
I feel like he was a part of most things at some point.
Yeah, especially the early 2000s. Like he was everywhere. Let's see, Jerry Lynn. Oh, here we go. AJ Styles defeated Jerry Lynn for the vacant International Cruiserweight Championship on Show 3. So there you go. The names of the shows are great. Like they're so bad, Marcus. The very first one was The Inception. Then the second one is The Revolution. The third one was The Eruption. The main event for that was Scott Steiner versus Nathan Jones. Yes, Marcus, that Nathan Jones. The roundhouse kicking, bald-headed ex-con from Bugger Road. The fourth show, The Retribution, which was main evented by Sting and Lex Luger. And then the fifth and final show, The Reckoning, was headlined by Jeff Jarrett and Sting in an NWA versus WWA World Title Unifier. This is at the point when Impact, then known as TNA, was truly around. So you had guys like Chris Sabin defending the X Division title on that last show. So,
yeah, Impact, if you're listening, we apologize if for making fun of your show names. It's just, we had gotten so used to the other pay-per-view names over the years. But truly, there is no contest for low tier. Those are just basic and lazy. And the Revolution, the Constitution,
the Insurrection. Oh wait, no, that was last year. Speaking of last year, Tyson Fury is looking to get back into pro wrestling, apparently. They're doing a stadium show in the UK, and, quote, he said, "Don't rule me out with fighting there. You might see me at SummerSlam, too. I got to speak to Vince and the boys, maybe make this happen. I know Drew McIntyre has been saying a lot of things about me. I'd love to knock him out." I'm pretty sure Tyson Fury lost to Braun Strowman the last time around. Could be wrong about that. But I listen. Like, I'm getting back into boxing more and more recently. I think Skyler's like Usyk. Like, that dude's just violent. I like him. He's a lot of fun. But like, and seeing Tyson come back at like 53, that was dope. I need more Tyson in my life. Watching that last year was pretty awesome. But I don't know if I want to see Tyson Fury retire yet. Like, he's still pretty young. He's in his early 30s, and he's 32-0-1, and he hasn't fought all the top guys. Like, he beat Deontay Wilder, and he beat him fucking decisively. But there's still Anthony Joshua, and there's still Usyk, and they're fighting one another, I think in the next month, so I'm going to be watching that. But I don't know. Like, I'd rather see Tyson Fury continue to box instead of wrestle, especially since, like, what does he bring to the table as a wrestler? It's not like seeing somebody like Cain Velasquez, who's an actual, wrestler, turned MMA fighter. Like, Tyson Fury has really nothing going for him in outside of his striking. So, like, there's really not a lot there. And you're not allowed to punch people in the face in wrestling. Like they warn you about that shit. At least they're supposed to. Yeah, Marcus, we've seen Tyson Fury fights before. Are you interested in seeing him in WWE again?
I can appreciate the intent specifically if he, respects the art form, but it's like I was thinking about that transitional concept with like actual fighters to wrestling when I've seen now the most hated pair in all of AEW, Guevara and your favorite karate S,
Ty Conti.
Ty Conti.
My favorite
When
karate S is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and I know S is supposed to imply female, but Wonderboy transcends gender.
There's no one thing. She show up in Cobra Kai. I'm skipping that episode. But well, yeah, like when she went, like Paige Van Zandt's a legitimate badass.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her because you know, diminutive, ain't she? But yeah, she can go. And I'm sitting up like she's gone.
Did you just drop a Space Jam line?
There's always time for a good Space Jam line. Specifically representing the Monstars. But yeah, I'm like, she's gone from like bare knuckle fight. Like she went from MMA to bare knuckle fighting to now trying to make cat fights look good with do we call Ty Conti an MMA fighter? I'm not trying to take away from any legitimate thing she's been through, but it's like,
if you want, you can address her as a martial artist.
yeah.
Because if she is training in karate, then that makes her a martial artist.
Yeah. So, I mean, that got to be. Well, now you got the stage cat fights, and it's like you really got to be enjoying like the journey of it all through wrestling, because it got to be hard and less fun because you legitimately go from being able to take somebody's head off to simulating struggle. that's it got to be a hell of a concept. So I mean, go back to your original point. I mean, if his intent's cool, okay. I mean, I guess WWE be the perfect place for it because they be, you know, the stunt casting of it all, and they always find a place for people on those SummerSlam, those bigger shows and whatnot. And although I would say it says a lot about where McIntyre has continued to fall from trying to be the best pandemic champion to now potentially going against Tyson Fury, who that's no knocking him, but this is a different lane, you know. So, yeah, I mean, look, they open their doors to anybody. You know, we just got through watching Steve-O, so, you know, not Steve-O, what's his face?
Paul. Well, no, there's also Johnny Knoxville, but we also got Logan Paul recently. Right? Is it Paul? Aaron Paul? Jake Paul? Luke Paul?
One of the Pauls, man.
I'm pretty sure the last one were Prophets.
Yeah.
Or Wiseman. One of the two.
So him and the guy from Jackass. So, you know, they come one, come all. That's continued PR crossover appeal for them. So they're going to soak it up as much as they can. And we saw what happened with Velasquez last time we saw him. We don't need to get him back because that was a waste of a payday for Brock.
Mm-hmm.
That was a wasted payday. We know how much he well, we don't know exactly, but it's got to be an insane amount every time he pops up. So for him to pop up, and then Brock already doesn't have to do a lot, but when he doesn't have to do a lot in a bad match, it's even worse.
A bad match Brock is a Brock we no longer need. We want happy-go-lucky, boombox stepping, cowboy wearing, fun tossing Brock. And if we can't have that, then we don't want anything else. Speaking of not wanting anything else, apparently the WWE wants to bring back FTR. I say more power to them because fuck them. They're boring as shit. You can't just be a wrestler and be a top guy. Like, you can just be a wrestler and have a job. But to be a top guy? Nah. Fam, that ain't it. Marcus, I've long been over on FTR. I've never seen the repeal. The one with the hair has potential as a solo star. At least on the mid-card scene. But I don't really see anything about them that makes me think, yeah, I want to see these guys more. And now the WWE and AEW want to bid on them in a bidding war? All right.
I feel like they just kind of finding their groove a little bit coming off of that match of the year, allegedly, apparently 6 stars. That must have been a Meltzer thing.
Obviously.
6-star thing with obviously the Briscoes. And they seemingly face at this point going against the Bucks. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, we know they can go, but it's like, it also seemed weird to me foundationally. It's like your whole narrative, the name of your new team is like Funk the Revival.
Yeah.
But if you go back to WWE, you're going to be the Revival. So it's like, I guess money talks, man. Money talks, but I just, and it's funny you talk about people that bore you specifically because Mustafa returned tonight on Raw.
More like boo, Mustafa.
Yeah,
Long live the king. I'm sorry, why would you name yourself after one of the most tragic deaths in Disney history? Like, why would you let that be a thing? Like, congratulations, Mustafa Ali. The greatest achievement you've ever made in your career is dying by a pack of wild elk. Or whatever they were. Caribou? I don't caribou enough about this conversation to continue. Ow! The king of segways. Speaking of the king's coming home. Sammy Callahan's coming home. He's coming home. He told the world at the last pay-per-view that he's coming home. So he's doing his crypticness. The wrestling world has missed Sammy Callahan. He's been gone for 6 months, maybe 7. I think it was right before Bound for Glory he got hurt. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I think is very interesting. Seeing him come back is going to be fun. Don't know where he's going to go, what he's going to do. He's obviously not a contender to join Honor no more. He was never really in Ring of Honor. But his best friend Eddie Edwards is in Ring of Honor. Is in Honor no more. Then you got Moose. Like the three of them are